Yeah. I used to do a little acting as a kid, just in small commercials or small German movies. So a little nervous to be in front of a camera again. Maybe that led to me being interested in stories from an early age on. Yeah, so much when I was a kid, like hundreds of books. Not too deep stuff, nothing like Kafka or anything, but many fantasy novels like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all that. Loved it, was totally obsessed with it, and then also became pretty obsessed with movies and TV shows, and I always been interconnected with the international community online. I grew up moving a lot, like 12 times or 13 times. I'm the oldest of 5, so yeah, generally it was a pretty wide ride for life. A lot has happened. And then someday someone came to me, introduced me to crypto, to Bitcoin. At first, just for the fun of it. And then I got to know the culture more and the people surrounding it and the thinking and the necessities. Yeah, I fell in love with this industry and its whole vibe. I worked as assistant for ergotherapy in a psychiatric institute. Then I studied law. And then I became active in Web3, first for a project called Meta Friends that originally was called Terrafloki, then for the Stone Ducks, and now for the Undying project, which came to be because the Stone Ducks founder rugged us all, and we as community decided that we can do better and that we don't want to give up. So the Undying came to be. Yeah, I'm in crypto since 17, so that's a whole while. Like back then, the fork wars were a big topic. When Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Split, there were a few other forks, but to be fair, Bitcoin Cash is the most successful in a way. But yeah, that's also a reason why crypto is very dear to all of us. We're not newcomers and we're not afraid of the beer, and we're not here just because of crazy price fluctuations, but because we really admire the culture and want to further it and evolve it. I think that every new technology brings philosophical and cultural aspects with it. The change the technology brings to its society, especially when it's such a disruptive technology, is immense. You could see it with the internet, basically with fire too, or with bombs. I'm very much invested in making sure that this technology is understood well and is used well and not misused or formed into something that very much looks exactly like the financial system we wanted to change, and where we wanted to separate the connection between state institutions and money flow and money supply control. Yeah, after the rug, there were tough times. I mean, I myself was invested into the brand because I believed in it. I was hired and worked my ass off for the project, and I really, really loved the people I got to know in the community. So after a while, we just, got our shit together and thought we can create something better and something even more worthy. And that's what we're doing now. So what my main task for the Undying is creating the universe surrounding the collection. So I'm not necessarily involved with the collection itself, which will be community-led, but my task is to flesh out the first big main story and the universe on which we want to build an IP to to spread cultural and philosophical values in crypto, but also in mainstream culture. And we think that it's just a way more fluent tool to bring people to crypto and to make people really understand why we're here than a complex DeFi protocol. Like, it's a way smoother experience to get to know facts and thinking schools through a great story that is not just an advertisement for its collection, but it stands on its own. It's separated as a universe that is inspired by the collection. So yeah, that's my main task, and just taking care of the community. So why we're so confident in the Undying universe is that it originally was intended as a book series and had nothing to do with NFTs at all. But it has been in development since multiple years now, so the characters are developed in a very complex and mature way. The story is thoughtful, and only has to be written out and adapted to crypto formats. So we already have the IP and the intellectual value, and we are just convinced that it has mainstream adoption potential. We're just convinced that it is a great story, one of the great stories. At least that's what we're aiming for. Yeah, there will be 3 audiobook chapters released before the collection goes live, just as a proof of concept and to show people what we're about and that we really had already built this universe. And of course, to give people something they can relate to and they can talk and speculate about and maybe even get involved in and tailoring the story with us. So why a crypto native brand? Why not let Game of Thrones or Adidas do what they do best and create a great brand? Well, we think that many of the Web 2 companies and media disregards its responsibility not only to report, but also report in a dignity regarding manner that is there to evolve the culture and not only to give gossip to talk about or something that gives an emotional outburst or endorphin jump so people click at the next article. And we think that the Web 2 culture is not suited for that. And we think that in the Web 3 culture, or in the crypto culture, as I prefer to call it, there is such a understanding for the future and freedom in a way that conservative institutions and companies cannot grasp and maybe shouldn't, cause maybe it's time that the people tell a story for the people. There are many highlights to the collection which we will talk about in other interviews where people are involved that work on these aspects. So I'm very excited to share future interview formats. This is the first one, so bear in mind that they will only get better. And yeah, guys, we all wanna, overcome loss, overcome the flow of time, be the best version of ourselves, and fight against injustice and the unnecessary tainting of this industry. And I really hope that people that have the mindset, that have this mindset in common with us, will join us on this journey.